least we can contain yung tinatawag natin yung rise ng tinatawag natin critical unit utilization, at the same time yung debt po natin.
Thank you, sir. Can I go to Secretary Dizon, please? Sir, andyan ba siya? Yan. Saan siya? Secretary Dizon?
Yes,
ayun,
thanks.
Sir, in terms of testing, sir, so you're looking at least in terms of your general universe, 500,000, so 590 tests so far. But I'm interested, sir, in terms of the allocation. Saan po natin ibubuhos ito sa NCR? Would you be able to mention specific cities? And paano, sir, yung procedure nito? We will be actively seeking yung mga people that needed to be tested, no, as opposed to them going to testing centers.
Joseph, sorry, I didn't, medyo nag-garble ka kanina. You're asking about the additional antigen kits?
Sir, basically, sir, yung pong kaninang presentation nyo, meron po kayong 500,000, I'm not sure kung antigen ito,
yes,
na ipo-procure, di ba?
Yes.
And then, right now, you have an existing 50 plus, but dadagdagan nyo yan for NCR plus ng 30. So, if you add all this up, you're looking at least 530,000 antigen tests.
That's right.
But, sir, ang question ko, sir, is in terms of allocation, because I think, as you will agree, that we need to urgently test yung NCR plus. So, I'm interested in the allocation per city. If you have special, kumbaga sir, if this were, kung laser, saan nyo itututok itong at least 30,000 so that we will be able to identify the cases and contain them so we prevent the spread?
Great question, Joseph. First of all, we have to understand the nature of how to use the antigen test kits. No?
Okay.
So for antigen test kits, the experts have guided us by using these, number one, for symptomatic cases. So many of these antigen test kits will be deployed to hospitals. No, because hospitals need not only more tests, they also need fast turnaround tests. No, so that they can act quickly if a person tests positive using these tests. The second is, gagamitin natin ito mga to sa mga dense communities for close contact and active case finding. Kasi yun ang effectivity ng antigen test. No? Hindi natin siya pwedeng gamitin, as you said, parang shotgun. Kailangan laser siya. No? So, hospitals, number one. Second, we will deploy them to LGUs. And the LGUs will be guided by very strict parameters on how to use them, on who to use them on. No? And these are mostly either symptomatics or those who have very, very close exposure or contact with positive cases.
Okay, sir. And I trust that you said that it's going to be done in the next 2 weeks, no? Tama po yung schedule?
Yes, in fact, we are targeting to start deploying tomorrow.
Okay, sir. Thank you for your time, Secretary Galvez. Thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you, Joseph. Melo Acuña, please.
Yes, good afternoon, Secretary. For Secretary Galvez, magandang tanghali po, Secretary Galvez. Kayo po ang vaccine czar at bilang pagtugon sa sinabi ng Pangulong Duterte kagabi na nagbabala siya sa mga nagpupuslit ng bakuna. Gaano po kaya kalawak ang gagawing pagsisiyasat ng inyong tanggapan para mapilala kung sino mga nasa likod ng ganitong kalakal, sapagkat binanggit na po ni Justice Secretary Minardo Guevara sa kanyang pagsisiyasat na hindi dumaan sa mga puerto ang mga bakunang ito. How far will you go to investigate and unmask people behind the nefarious business, if you may call it that way?
Yes, kahapon nga po, nagbigay na po ako ng directive sa National Task Force to coordinate with the NBI, with the Police Intelligence, and also Chief ISA, and also NICA. Ito po kasi nakita natin na nagkaroon po ng warning na po yung WHO with the rampant availability of fake tinatawag natin fake vaccines. And also, in some instances, may 3 kaming company na pinaimbestigahan kasi we record check kung saan sila nanggagaling, and we found out na hindi sila authorized ng mother company ng mga vaccine. Hindi ko nasasabihin po na yung vaccine. Pero meron kaming 3 parang supplier na we believe they are not authorized. And with that, nakikita namin medyo spurious ang kanilang pagpasok dito, and even offering it to different LGUs. That's why we made a nationwide alert with the LGUs that if they will conduct negotiations with the different vaccine company. It should be properly coordinated with us, because we have the wherewithals, and also we have the agencies like the intelligence community that can really locate and look at the records and the company profile of these companies that will be possibly putting at risk selling what we call the fake and illegal and smuggled illegal vaccines.
Opo, nag-backtrack po kaya kayo kung paano nakapasok yung mga binebenta nila?
Tinitingnan po natin kung paano po ginawa po nila yon, and with that I believe our intelligence committee and also the customs intelligence ay talaga po tinitingnan kung para po mapigilan po yung pagpuslit po ng mga ganitong vaccine. Kasi po delikado po ito. It will really pose a serious threat to the safety and efficacy of our vaccination program.
Will you be filing cases against these companies?
Yes, definitely. If we found some merits on filing these cases, considering that they misrepresent the companies, we also ask the different companies, manufacturing companies, to really police their ranks, so that we can assure that our dealings will be on top of the table. At the same time, it is within the purview of the recently approved legislation that we have.
Thank you very much. For Secretary Dizon, please. Secretary Dizon, good afternoon.
Afternoon, Sir Mel.
Secretary Dizon.
Afternoon
magandang hapon po. Maganda po yung balak ninyo para doon sa pagsubok sa mga tao at magkakaroon ng laser approach. Matapos po magkaroon ng pagsubok sa mga tao, gaano po ka-effective ang ating contact tracing upang malaman kung saan talaga nakarating at kung ilan ang posibleng nagkaroon ng karamdaman. Ito po yung mahalaga sapagkat we can all do the testing, but if the contact tracing is still wanting, ano po ang magagawa natin?
Tama po yun. No? In fact, sinasabi nga po paulit-ulit Mayor Benji Magalong, ang ating contact tracing czar, long way to go tayo sa contact tracing natin. No? In terms of yung dami ng ating dapat na natitrace kada isang kaso. So ngayon po ay nakikipagtulungan po ang DILG, ang NTF at ang DOH sa ating mga local government units at mga executives natin sa mga LGU para po paigtingin ang contact tracing natin. Dahil kailangan po talaga mabilisan at hindi lang yung dami, Sir Melo, yung bilis din ng paghahanap. And ang goal is within 24, maximum 48 hours. And na-trace na up to the second or even the third contact levels. No? So, tuloy-tuloy ang ating pag-iinting dyan. Pero it's a challenge, pero pinipilit nating mapabuti ang ating performance sa tracing.
Yeah, meron po kaya tayong mababanggit na best practices sa contact tracing?
Marami naman pong best practices. No? Marami po ang gumagamit ng mga digital technologies. Ngayon po, inaayos po ng ating DICT together with DOH yung mga issues tungkol dun sa mga iba't ibang applications na ginagamit tulad ng Stay Safe at mga iba't ibang applications ng mga LGUs natin. Kailangan nga po talaga ma-integrate ito at magamit ng malawakan para maging effective. Kasi kung may app, hindi naman ginagamit, bali-wala yung app.
Opo. Maraming salamat po. Thank you very much, Secretary Harry. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Melo. Pierre Nada, please.
Hello, good afternoon. Just two questions for our guests. First, sir, has the government already approved guidelines for vaccinating people with comorbidities? I hear that the DOH is proposing to prioritize 7 comorbidities. Is this already approved, sir?
Is this for Sec Galvez?
Ay, Secretary Galvez, yes. Sorry.
Yung prioritization natin po, meron na po tayong na-establish po ng resolution ng NITAG. So basically yung ating prioritization from category A, B, C, ayos na po yun. Bali po yun po ang ginagawa lang po natin sa ngayon na nagkakaroon po tayo ng specific guidelines based sa mga vaccine na ginagamit po natin.
So sir, alin po yung 7 comorbidities na priority for that group, that sector?
ang inano natin to remove the complication, kasi kung iano pa natin yung 7 group na gano'n, mahihirapan ng flexibility yung ano eh. Basta ang ano natin is yung isang tao, meron siyang certificate na he is suffering from certain comorbidities, hindi na natin lalagay yung priority kasi magkakaroon pa ng tinatawag natin na ano yan eh, complication from A3, iano pa natin. Magiging ano yan, magiging tinatawag nating very tedious at magkakaroon tayo ng tinatawag na pagka nagkaroon na naman tayo ng sequential, hahaba na naman yung ano natin. So ang ano natin is ang pinaka-simplified na ginagawa ng ating LGU is parang nilalansam lahat yung yung may comorbidities and then they will be pre-listed. And with that, magkakaroon sila ng screening and then nakita-kita na talaga meron silang tinatawag na mga complicated diseases and they will be allowed to have vaccination.
Okay, so sir, approved na po yan yung...
Yes, ano na po natin, ang ginagawa po nga natin ngayon, pinocombine na nga po natin yung A2 at saka A3. Kasi po yun ang recommendation po ng mga specialist po natin. As much as possible, we should simplify our vaccination program. The more we limit yung boundaries, the more na magkakaroon tayo ng restriction. So with that, magkakaroon tayo tinatawag na inflexible application. So yung the whole national resources. So with that, ang ginawa nila is they simplified yung tinatawag natin, they simplified their segments into 3 or 5 so that yung implementing agency will have the flexibility of inoculating as much as many people, qualified people in the priority list.
Alright. And then sir, yung second question ko po, kasi na-mention po ni Secretary Roque earlier that extending the ECQ will be a last resort and you will be discussing this on Saturday. Sir, what's the red line that if we cross it, we will extend ECQ?
Nakikita po natin, yun ang pinag-uusapan natin sa IATF, nakita natin pagka lalo pang nag-spike, yung natin tumaas pa. And I think with the recommendation of the expert that we have to extend, we will look at seriously on the recommendation of our expert.
What level of rise? Kasi talaga namang mag-rise siya, di ba? Kasi new cases are added. But like what amount of rise would merit the extension? Like, is it gonna be 10,000 more cases or paano po ba yun dinidecide?
Nakita natin pagka nagkakaroon pa na yung continuous steep rise of yung exponential increase niya is hindi nagkakaroon ng tinatawag nating hindi siya nagpa-plateau or hindi siya bumababa. It means that the intervention that we are having is kailangan makumpleto po natin. Yun din po ang recommendation we are open to the recommendation of our expert na extend natin ng 14 days kasi yun ang sinasabi nga nila na yung inoculation period ng virus is 14 days. So isa pa rin pong open na recommendations ng mga expert po natin.
And if ever sir na ma-lift yung ECQ, magsistay pa rin yung bubble no matter what. Tama po ba?
Titingnan po natin kasi katulad ng para at least continuous ang ating observation, we might continue pa rin yung observation sa bubble kasi nakita natin yung naging experience natin during March, April and May. Hindi natin mahiwalay yung Region 3 at saka Region 4 at saka NCR. Nakita natin talaga pagka nag-rise dito sa NCR. Considering that most of the workers are also residing in the Greater Manila area, talaga nakikita natin na same intervention dapat ang tingin natin sa Greater Manila area, NCR+.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Mela Lesmoras, please.
Hi, good afternoon po, Secretary Roque. For Secretary Galvez, I only have one question po, Secretary Galvez. Sa ngayon po kasi may ilan na natutuwa nga dito sa vaccination program at may ilan din naman na nakakaranas ng aberya. Like for example, dumating sila sa mga LG, dumating sila sa lugar, pero wala pala sila sa listahan. Ngayon, sakto naman po, sir, ay mag-iisang buwan na. Isang buwan na nang ipinatupad natin itong National Vaccination Program. May I ask, sir, paano niyo po i-assess yung ating national vaccination program? Ano yung mga good points natin at ano pa yung mga learnings natin na para magagamit natin sa mga susunod pang araw, mga susunod pang buwan?
Nakita po natin na yung nagsimula po tayo ng March 1 hanggang ngayon po. Nakita po natin na medyo yung nakita natin na yung sequential prioritization. There is a tendency na after 3 weeks or 4 weeks, magkakaroon siya ng slowdown. And considering to offset, magkaroon tayo ng target, we are targeting 500,000 a week or 1 million a week. kailangan maging sustained yung ating operations. And we cannot sustain that operation without this steady supply. So ngayon, yung lessons learned natin in order to succeed on this inoculation program, kailangan talaga ang ating priority is to get the steady supply of the vaccine. So yun ang pinaka-basic natin. And then nakita natin ngayon yung sa complications ng deployment. Now we are only deploying only 1 million, 2 million for now. But in case that we will be deploying 8 million, even 10 million, even 15 million per month, it will be having a complete complicated logistic system. So what we do is ang ginawa namin is for each vaccine, meron kaming supply agreement with different supply chain third party provider. For example, in Moderna, we already added to the price of the vaccine the supply agreement of end-to-end, meaning Swillig will take care of the transportation from the manufacturer going here and then distributing it end-to-end to the different administration area. And that lessons that we have learned that if we will have only one third party provider, it will be a logistic challenge. So what we are doing right now is we wanted to explore multiple supply chain arrangement with the different vaccine makers. So for example, for Novavax, it will be taken care of Unilab. For AstraZeneca, it will be taken AstraZeneca, and also with Moderna, it will be taken by Swillig. And then right now, the Sinovac is being taken by Micropac. In that case, we have some sort of hedging of risk, and also we are multiplying the capacity of the different private sector in order to cope with the logistic requirement of the vaccination program.
Opo. Quick follow-up lang po, Secretary Galvez. Yun nga, sa tinatakbo ng sitwasyon natin ngayon, despite the challenges, are we still on the right track? Kumbaga, namimit naman po ba natin yung target po natin?
Sa ngayon nakita natin na yung target natin sa March at saka sa February, we are expecting supposed to be meron tayong supply ng February, but it was slipped down to March. And then right now, because of the delay of the COVAX, nagkaroon tayong tinatawag nating some slippage in terms of yung ating supply requirement. And with that, yung supposed to be increase ng daily natin, it will be affected. But I want to make it a point na maganda yung record natin kasi considering na yung first week, we only have yung 35,000 per week with an average of 5,000 a day. So ngayon, from 35,000 a week, we were able to increase it ngayong fourth week to 271,459. Ibig sabihin, yung capacity natin to inoculate, it will go exponentially also with the availability of more vaccines in the different LGUs. Ang nagawa rin namin is we were able to say that I would like to congratulate yung ating logistic partners and also our logistic chain, TG Commander si Jose Carol Paino. Dahil imagine yung first week, we were able to deploy all the vaccines from north to south, meaning from Basco, Batanes to Tawi-Tawi and also even to Sudu. So meaning that logistical challenge of deploying our vaccines to the different part of the countries and supplying it to different hospitals, napakahirap po yun. Tututusin po natin.
Okay, thank you so much po, Secretary Galvez.
Okay. Yusek Roque, one last question.
Opo, may pahabol pong tanong si Sandra Aguinaldo ng GMA News para po kay Secretary Galvez. How is the Philippines affected by India's move to curtail exports of COVID-19 vaccines?
Ask and answered na po. Nasagot na po yan kanina.
Ano daw po ang bahagi ng proseso ng pagbili ng private sector ng vaccine ang maaari pang pabilisin? Ano po ang tinutukoy nyo na papabilisin?
Actually, already asked and answered po yan ni Secretary Galvez. So anyway, kung meron pa po tayong mga ibang tanong, wala na.
Sir, I'm required to go to the Congress.
Oo nga po Maraming salamat Secretary Galvez. Maraming salamat din Secretary Vince Dizon. Thank you very much for joining us, and sa susunod po, we hope to see you again. Okay, maraming salamat po. So we proceed Yung mga nakalimang tanong na po, okay na po yung inyong quota, no? So, back to you, Sec. Roque.
Sir, tanong po ni Laila Salaveria ng Inquirer for Secretary Roque, what did the President say about the recommendation for a longer ECQ? What are his concerns?
Wala naman po, basta ang nasa isipan ng Presidente kung mag-ECQ, siguraduhin merong tayong assistance na mailalabas para sa ating mga kababayan.
When can we expect a decision on the quarantine classification for the NCR Plus?
Magpupulong po ang IATF on Black Saturday.
Thank you, Secretary.
Wala nang questions. So maraming salamat po. Mela Lesmoras, okay? Mela?
Okay, Secretary Roque, I only have 2 questions lang po. Sa ECQ assistance lang, sir, kailan kaya inaasahang magsisimula yung pagbibigay po nito sa ating mga kababayan?
Sa lalong mabilis sa panahon po yan, ngayong napirmahan na po ni Presidente, it takes seconds, no, para ilipat ng DBM yung pera sa mga LGUs, no, dahil handa na nga po yung tinatawag na SARO at saka NCA. Now, yung pinirmahan po ni Presidente is already silent on whether or not it is cash or in kind. So that's the call of the LGU. Basta ang gusto mangyari ni Presidente, sa lalong mabilis na panahon makarating ang ayuda.
Opo, at panghuling tanong na lamang po, Secretary Roque, para alam ng ating mga kababayan, ano po ang schedule ninyo ngayong Holy Week? Magkakaroon po ba kayo ng briefing on Thursday? At lalo na si Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte, saan po kaya siya mag-Monday, Thursday at Black Friday? Ano pong schedule niya sa mga susunod na araw?
Meron po siya mga pribado mga gagawin dito po sa Maynila. Pero ang gusto nga niya po, mag-part 2 kami ng Talk to the People this Thursday. But quite frankly, we all appealed because we already have Black Saturday meeting in IATF. So we are waiting po kung papayag si Presidente na wag na munang mag-talk to the people on Thursday kasi ang problema, pag Semana Santa naman talaga, sarado ang Thursday and Friday. No? So even without COVID, sarado po ang body Thursday at Good Friday. So we'll keep you posted po. But chances are, baka ang talk to the people po next week na. No? But Black Saturday we will meet. So we could have a briefing to announce kung ano yung quarantine classification either Saturday or Sunday.
Okay, thank you so much po, Secretary Roque.
Maraming salamat, Mela. Back to you, Sec. Roque, please.
Yes, Secretary, yung tanong ni Sandra Aguinaldo, para sa inyo, nasagot nyo na rin po, and ni Secretary Galvez, pati yung vaccination process ng private sector. Tanong ni AC Nichols ay nasagot na rin po ni Secretary Galvez. Tanong din ni Ian Cruz, nasagot na. Tanong naman po ni John Punsalan ng ABS-CBN for Secretary Roque, is it final that ECQ ayuda would be given in kind? Will logistics for this be more difficult compared to cash aid distribution?
Gaya na akin sinabi, yung pinirmahan po ni Presidente kagabi was silent. So we leave it to the local government units kung ano pinakamabilis para makarating po sa ating mga kababayan.
Okay, thank you, Secretary.
Okay, so punta tayo kay Melo Acuña.
Magandang hapon, Secretary. Good afternoon. Doon po bilang follow-up doon sa pagbibigay ng ayuda sa mga nangangailangan, whether it's cash or in kind, bahala na yung LGU. Pero ano po ang magiging listahan nating gagamitin? Ito po ba ay yung dating pinakinabangan o mas malawak? Meron bang mga bago na identify na nangangailangan ng tulong?
Mas malawak po ngayon kasi dati 70% lang ang binigyan natin, ngayon 80%. So I suppose yung mga LGUs, yung mga nasa waiting list, pwede po nilang ma-activate yan. This is now 80% of the residents of Metropolitan Manila plus the 4 provinces.
Meron po binanggit na safeguards ang DSWD at meron din ang DILG. Ano po yung lessons learned natin doon sa mga ilang barangay chair na nakinabang doon sa SAP sa halip na yung kanilang mga kabarangay?
Lesson learned po, kung kayo'y mga opisyales ng barangay, pakukulong po kayo ni Presidente pag pati ba naman ng ayuda ay pagsasamantalahan ninyo. No? Napakadami na pong nadisiplina dyan. Ang mensahe po kay Presidente, wag na wag niyong gagalawin ng ayuda sa panahon po ng lockdown at pandemya.
Salamat po, Secretary. Thank you.
Maraming salamat. Back to you, Sec. Roque, please.
Secretary, question from Lenes Capanti of GMA News Online. how would the government ensure that each beneficiary will indeed get 1,000 worth of pesos worth of in-kind benefit? Will the goods come with a receipt or an accounting info from LGU?
Nasa COA na po yan, no? Dahil meron naman pong post-audit ng COA. Pero gaya ng sinabi ko po, silent na po ngayon yung pinirmahan ng Presidente. Dahil ang nais natin, pinakamabilis na panahon ay matanggap ang ayuda.
Second question niya, when will you release the IRR of the COVID-19 vaccination law?
Well, natapos na po, no? So it should be released. It will take effect as soon as it is deposited with the UP Law Center.
Given that COVID-19 vaccination law already allows private companies to purchase COVID-19 vaccines under a tripartite agreement, how is this provision of the law different from what the President said last night, or was he just reiterating what is already under the law?
Pareho lang po, pero guys, sabi nga ni Secretary Galvez, pinabibilis lang yung proseso. Kung ngayon po, hindi na kinakailangan sumama sa federasyon, hindi na kinakailangan sumama sa organisasyon. Kung isang kumpanya gustong bumili para sa empleyado, pipirmahan na po natin ang kanilang tripartite agreement.
Tanong po ni Chris Jose, unang tanong niya ay nabanggit niyo na about dun sa posibleng extension ng ECQ or pag-aaralan pa. Second question niya, pwede po bang makasama ang mga miyembro ng media sa quick substitution list? Batid naman po ng lahat na may mga miyembro ng media ang nasa field para mangalap ng balita at para na rin pong frontliners na kung nasaan ang balita ay nandun din ang mga kasamahan sa hanap buhay.
Well, gaya ng pinaglaban ko yung mga comorbidities, no? Yung merong comorbidities, pinapaglaban pa rin po natin na mapasama sa A4 ang media. Hindi pa po tapos ang listahan ng A4 dahil nga po may mga issue pa gaya ng mga miyembro ng media kung mapapasama. So, antayin po natin ang pinal na usapin tungkol dito.
From Michael Flores, did the meeting of President Duterte and the Chinese ambassador push through what were discussed between the two, and what messages were conveyed by the President to the Chinese ambassador?
Matagal ko na pong sinagot yan. So, asked and answered, natuloy po yun. It was a personal visit for the Chinese ambassador to greet the President. Happy birthday.
Okay. Salamat, Secretary.
Thank you, Yusek. Pia Renada, please. Wala na?
Hello? Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Hi, Secretary. Yes, sir. Sir, can we just also find out if there's been any discussion on whether or not aid will also be made available to small businesses and workers affected by the ECQ?
It's continuing. Ito po yung sinasabi natin dati na bago tayo kumuha ng Bayanihan 3, ubusin muna natin yung meron tayo. No? So itong Bayanihan 2, ito na po yun. Ubus na yung Bayanihan 2 with this ayuda. But in terms of subsidy to the small and medium-scale industries, nasa 2021 budget po yan. No? So lahat po ng mga programa na pinatupad natin last year, mas malaki pong budget ang dinagay natin sa 2021. So that will continue. Yan po yung sa SB Corp, yan po yung lending ng DA, yan po yung lending ng DTI, at saka syempre yung mga cash for work program ng Department of Labor. Lahat po yan nasa 2021 budget.
And then, sir, earlier si Secretary Galvez mentioned that the President said that even if hindi na siya presidente, he wants to help secure vaccines. Can you just elaborate on what he said?
No, this is the instruction now na the DBM should have a substantial amount of funding available so we can establish a vaccine institute to enable us to manufacture our own vaccines.
And he wants to help in what capacity?
He wants to leave that as a legacy na siya yung nagpatayo ng vaccine na institute nang sa ganon, hindi na tayo umaasa sa inaangkat ng mga bakuna.
And then, sir, yung the provision that silent na yung memorandum on whether cash or in kind, was this a modification requested by the President? I mean, why did it change?
Well, it was now in the written form, no, which was different from what had been announced by Secretary Avisado. No? So, ang intention po is mapabilis.
So, sir, hindi siya last-minute change. It was just that iba yung sinabi ni Secretary Avisado. Tama po ba yan?
Well, let's just say that originally kasi ang concern was dapat mapunta talaga sa pagkain yung ayuda. Pero we realized na sa panahon ng pandemya, kinakailangan mas mabilis. No? So, pero meron pa rin namang somehow leeway ang mga LGUs. Palagi naman po natin rin nirespeto ang mga LGUs dahil sila nagpapatupad ng mga programa. So we cannot substitute our judgment for this. Kung ma-assure nila na mabilisan na in kind, wala pong problema yon. Pero kung bibili pa at matatagalan, well, mas maganda pong i-cash na lang.
And then sir, lastly, ano po yung requirements ng mga private sector in order to fast track their tripartite deals? I mean, obviously, tama po ba, the vaccines they procure have to be already approved given an EUA. Tama
Of
ba? That's
course.
one requirement.
Oo, hindi-
What other requirements, sir, to make sure na fast flowing na po yung approval process?
Well, syempre, mababayaran nila, no? Hindi na po requirement na mag-donate sila kasi yung requirement naman na mag-donate sila was really an imposition of AstraZeneca. At saka AstraZeneca, subsidized talaga ang presyo, $5 lang. Pero wala na pong bakuna na kasing mura na AstraZeneca, so naintindihan namin na yung provision na mag-donate may have to go, no? Pero kung gusto po nila, we still encourage that.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Maraming salamat, Pia. Back to you, Sec. Roque.
Yes, Secretary, tanong mula kay Tina Mendez ng Philippine Star. Update daw po regarding sa hospitalization, healthcare utilization rates for COVID-19 wards and beds. Pakibanggit po ilang beds instead of percentage.
Well, nasa ano po yan, no? Nasa okay, sandali lang po kasi hindi naman mamememorya yan. So ito po, ang total bed capacity po natin, 30,537 or 28% of ABC. Tapos ang isolation po natin ay 9,794 or 128,533 beds, no? Tapos ang ating ano pa ba ito? Yun po, yun ang gusto nyong figures, no? Hindi ko lang po mabasa. Ang treatment natin, ang total bed capacity, sabi ko na po, no? 30,537. Ang ating isolation is 128,533.
Opo. Second question po niya, nitong last 2 weeks, may stats po ba tayo na mga namamatay sa quarantine facilities sa Metro Manila dahil hindi na nadadala sa ospital if not too late na daw po?
Wala po akong ganung stat. Ang meron lang po tayo yung case fatality rate natin na under 2% pa rin po.
Opo. From Maricel Hanini of TV5, when will the President announce the new quarantine classification? What are the chances that the President will extend ECQ in Metro Manila?
I would say it's a 50-50. We're hoping na yung 1-week bubble natin at saka yung 1 week na ECQ natin will lead to lower numbers. Ang pinaka-importante po, it's our critical care capacity. Kaya po tayo nag-ECQ, it's to prepare our healthcare system to treat yung mga seryosong mga magkakasakit. So ngayon po, talagang nag-ECQ na tayo despite the fact na talagang ang cost-benefit analysis ay lopsided, no, in favor of poverty because the hospitals cannot cope kung hindi po tayo mag-ECQ. So yun din po ang ating tatanungin pagdating ng araw ng Sabado. Can the hospitals still cope?
Po, yung second question po niya ay nasagot niyo na rin at saka ni Secretary Galvez. Tanong po ni Celerina Monte, yung 1,000 worth of assistance in kind, sino po ang mamimili ng mga produkto na ipamimigay? LGU po ba? At uniform po ba yung goods na ipamimigay sa lahat ng LGU?
Gaya na akin sinabi, silent na po yung napirmahan ng Presidente, but we are not depriving the LGUs. Basta importante, mabilis po.
Opo, yung ina-allow daw po na private sector na bumili ng bakuna na inanunsyo ni President last night. So basically, wala naman palang bago kasi pareho lang daw po ba ang sistema? Tama po ba daw yon?
Well, pinabibilis na po natin at ngayon lang naman kasi po naipasa ng Kongreso din yung batas at ngayon lang din natapos yung IRR.
Opo, Secretary, hindi ko po alam kung may nakalinya pa sa Zoom kasi meron pong last question sana.
Joseph Morong, please.
Sir, short lang, sir. Okay, so sir, yung pong budget, ang ibig sabihin sir, yung 1,000 and 4,000 per family, budget na yan. And it's up to the LGU kung paano nila ipamimigay.
Tama po yan.
Or cash, no? So budget, sir, yung
Budget.
pinag-uusapan
At ang
natin.
importante ay mabilis.
Okay. So ang sabi ni Seque Avisado ay na-release na niya yata yung, na-signan na niya yung I think NCA and the SARO. So at least maybe tomorrow pwede nang maasahan ng mga kababayan yung natin yung pera if they can download it to the LGUs or to the Treasury Department, Bureau of Treasury.
What we can assure
Tomorrow.
is today, maililipat na sa mga LGUs yung pondo. Pero wag naman natin asahan na within today completely madidistribute ng LGUs na, no? Hindi naman sila Superman, no? So bigyan naman po natin sila ng sapat na panahon.
Sir, budget issue rin. Sir, yung 22.9 million times 1,000 per individual, that will give you 22.9 billion. And kahapon, sir, sabi ni Secretary Abisado is that we only have 23 billion in unutilized fund. So, ibig sabihin, sir, said na po tayo?
That's for Bayanihan 2. So, ubus na yung Bayanihan 2. Remember, nung una nagsuggest si Senator Bongo na magbibigay ng ayuda, ang sagot natin is, hindi naman kinakailangan bagong ayuda, titignan muna natin kung ano yung available sa Bayanihan 2 at saka sa 2021 budget. So, ito po yung naging katugunan sa naging suhestyon ni Senator Bongo.
Sir, if we extend, where are we going to get the budget?
Well, we can always ask Congress for a supplemental budget in the form perhaps of a Bayanihan 3. Pero that's premature. Dahil lang tingin ko naman po, coupled with yung mass hugas iwas, tingin ko naman po itong 1-week bubble and 1-week ECQ will give the necessary breathing space para sa ating mga hospital. Again po, the policy consideration is talaga ang numero na riyan. Ang issue lang is, kaya bang mag-cope ng mga hospital?
Sir, okay, last question, sir. You said that it is yung pong extension of the ECQ for 1 or 2 weeks. It's the absolute last resort. That means this is not the first option. What is the first option?
The first option po is actually to resort to reopening the economy if possible, no? Kasi alam naman natin na itong ayudang binibigay natin is stopgap, no? Hindi naman po talaga yan para sa total health ng ating mga kababayan. It's to just let them survive, no? From meal to meal. So mas importante po na mabigyan ng pagkakataon na makapagtrabaho ang lahat.
And the restrictions would look like how would it look like, sir?
Ay, hindi ko pa po alam. Let's not speculate, no? Pero we had the bubble, no? And the bubble, the intention was buksan natin ang ekonomiya, hayaan natin maghanap buhay, tignan natin kung mapapababa na natin ang mga kaso. Malalaman na po natin yan next week. Monday, kasi yun yung 2 weeks ng NCR bubble. So malalaman po natin yan sa Monday.
Sir, thank you for your time po.
Maraming salamat, Joseph. Balik tayo kay Yusek Roque.
Yes, Secretary. Last question from Vance Fernandez. U.S. Secretary Antony Blinken stated that the United States will back its ally, the Philippines, in China's maritime militia. Thus, the Philippines officially welcome this reaffirmation of the U.S. that it will defend the Philippines against Chinese aggression, and will this embolden the government to take a firmer stand on the issue of defending our territorial waters?
Nagpapasalamat po ang Pilipinas sa ating matalik na kaibigan ng Estados Unidos. Okay, since bago po tayo magtapos, we wish former President Erap Estrada to please get well soon. Alamat po kayo dito sa Pilipinas, no? So we want to see you healthy, and we want you to take part in the public life of the country for a very long period of time. Magpagaling po kayo, Mr. President Erap Estrada. Since wala na po tayong mga katanungan, mga kababayan, hindi na po tayo magpe-press briefing bukas dahil tradisyonal naman po na lahat ng tao ay nagmumuni-muni at nagdadasal pagdating po ng mahal na araw. Ang aking mensahe lang po sa ngalan ng ating Presidente Rodrigo Roa Duterte, ginugurita po natin ang mahal na araw, ang Semana Santa, dahil dito po pinako ang ating Panginoon, dahil po sa ating mga kasalanan, pero dumating din po ang Pasko ng pagkabuhay. Aantayin po natin ang Pasko ng pagkabuhay dito sa pandemyang COVID-19. Magandang salamat po sa inyong lahat, and until Saturday, magandang araw po sa inyong lahat.